Hi, my name is Pierre Warney, and I live just over the hill on Prospect Street, not far from Burnham Park where we are now, and we could walk over here to tend our garden and do all the watering and take care of the garden as often as possible. I've been gardening since I was a kid. My father used to tell me stories about when he came back from World War II and everyone had victory gardens in their backyard because food was scarce during the war and you couldn't go and buy all this food, so you had to grow your own little gardens. I've learned through trial and error to garden all my life. We first learned about backyard growers at the O'Malley School Environmental Fair around Earth Day in the spring about 3 or 4 years ago. And so we signed up. I guess we were on the waiting list for a while and we had to wait, and we finally got our little garden plot right here, which is a raised bed. We try to grow as many different things throughout the season as possible. One of the main benefits of gardening that I think is it does encourage people and make people eat healthier foods and stuff. Especially this year, 2020, less trips to the supermarket. Growing our own food is definitely healthier and safer. You do save money gardening. I think it's definitely a plus for the community. We've met a lot of people and friends socially through gardening and stuff, because we all have a common interest. And part of gardening is people who love nature, you know, plants and animals and birds and butterflies and everything. So we're outside in the sun getting fresh air and exercise, which is the safest place to be this year, out in the sun and fresh air. And I really think it has a good sense of the Gloucester community. Gardening is always a changing experiment. You know, some years are good and some years are bad. We like okra because I like a lot of southern food. We also grow Brussels sprouts, which is the last one in the fall for winter. You know, we store a lot of things. And my wife Nancy dries a lot of herbs, and we try to preserve and keep some foods. In the spring, you start with strawberries, and then we have all the summer vegetables like tomatoes and eggplant and potatoes and peppers. I'm learning to cook more now. I used to let my wife do all the cooking, but now I experiment and throw everything in a pot and make whatever comes out. This year we have a lot of green tomatoes, so what am I going to do with green tomatoes? I'm going to make fried green tomatoes. You've probably all seen that movie. So we try to use everything we can, whether it's ripe or not. You can still eat it if you cook it the right way, and I try not to waste anything. And whatever's left over, we compost and kind of use over again to recycle the nutrients in the soil. This happy, healthy looking green leaf is kale, spelled K-A-L-E, which I hardly ever tasted until we moved up to Gloucester. Kale is a very delicious, nutritious plant that can be used in soups, or you can cook it many different ways. My wife likes to make kale chips, which is kind of dried out on a cookie sheet in a roasted oven with a little bit of olive oil and salt, and it gets real crispy and crunchy and salty, and it tastes very, as I said, delicious and is very nutritious. And again, my name is Pierre, and as the famous chef Julia Child used to say, bon appetit!